Meet Arna, the adaptive robotic nurse assistant. These student nurses are getting some hands-on training.
The premise of the project is that nurses need help to take care of patients.
With support from the National Science Foundation, roboticist Dan Popa and a team of engineers and nurses at the University of Louisville are developing a new generation of assistive robots designed to help nurses care for patients in a hospital.
So this is a nurse assistant, not a nurse replacement. So to introduce a robot would essentially improve both quality of care and also help nurses complete their tasks more efficiently.
By necessity, nurses have to be master multitaskers. The idea is to put the robot to work assisting with some of the more routine nursing tasks, like fetching items or helping prevent falls.
Robots will never replace the critical thinking and the analysis that a professional nurse does, but the robot could do some tasks and help with some activities that would free up the nurse's time.
This robot is a proof of concept design undergoing an initial round of testing at a simulation lab in the School of Nursing. Weighing in at 500 pounds, it can push a hospital bed. But a patient using it for support can also move it easily, and it can adapt to a person's gait.
So as soon as somebody holds onto this and try to push it forward or backward or lateral, this sensor reads these efforts from the user, and by following those commands, it tries to move in the desired direction.
Using other robots back in the lab, they're testing improvements to the hardware and software that they'll eventually incorporate into future versions of Arna. To start with, it needs to be able to learn how to get itself around. In a hospital, objects and people are constantly on the move.
For safety reasons, it's important that this robot continuously map the environment and figure out how to get from one place to another.
They also want to optimize the functionality of the robot arm. They want nurses to be able to teach a robot what to do by physically demonstrating how it should move.
Just telling the robot, when you help a patient get out of bed, I need you to be in this position and hold your hands like this, and the person will actually use your strength to stand up. So you can teach them by demonstration. The issue is if objects move around in space, the robot should be able to adapt the motion to account for that.
A nursing robot will need to be highly maneuverable, so they're looking to build in so-called omnidirectional design, the ability to move in any direction equally well. It's hard to imagine Arna skittering around like this, but the robot nurse assistants of the future will be smaller and more agile than this one.
That's important to get around tight spaces, especially in hospitals. If you have a traditional steering mechanism where you have to drive back and forth to be able to move sideways, that's not going to work very well.
And then there is deciding how nurses and patients could best interface with the assistant. They're working on a pressure-sensitive electronic skin, which would cover the entire body of the robot and respond to touch.
You can squeeze a little part of the robot and it'll know that you're there and you want something.
Hello there.
What if the robot looked like a person and could talk to you? This is Phil, modeled on science fiction author Philip K. Dick. Popa's team works with the Phil robot on other projects, and they gave some thought to making Arna look human. For now, they decided that is probably more of a turnoff than an advantage.
There have been actually discussions about whether we can take the head of Phil and just plop it onto a unnaturally looking mobile robot. That will look very bizarre, a lot more bizarre than now.
The team will use data gleaned from the student nurse training sessions to design follow-on iterations of Arna. In time, functionality will improve and costs will go down. It's a win for hospitals, which are on the lookout to save funds and reduce patient falls. And it's a win for nurses, too.
It gives the nurse more time to be a scientist and also to be the caring professional that they want to be if some of the tasks are taken off their hands.
Looking to the future, designing robot nurse assistants to lend a hand at the hospital. For Science Nation, I'm Miles O'Brien.